This is McCook's Mr. Billson. Honored to have you here. My aunt passed away today. She was the last of that generation to pass away at 103 years old. There were 6 brothers and sisters, and she being the last to survive. She was quite a lady, without question. She regretted, she told me, that she only went to the 8th grade. But to go on to high school, she would have had to travel some 20 miles and stay with a family there during the school year and work for them for your room and board. And she just was too homesick to try to do something like that. So she didn't get more education, but she did regret it later. With that in mind, though, a few years later, though, a hired hand came through and harvest crews came through, and she liked him and they liked each other enough that they got married. And his name was Ray Bigbee, built like a brick outhouse. Not the smartest man in the world, a little bit slow, but a wonderful, kind soul he was, without question. And they loved each other and were married for so many years. They had no children, though, and so again, their stories will die, as many do. They worked, both of them, feverishly to build up some money from nothing. They had nothing to start with. And they were able to buy a small farm, a half a section of ground, 320 acres, and had a two-bedroom house on it, along with, behind it, about 50 yards, was a bubbling spring right out of the ground. 10, maybe 20 gallons of water at the best of times. But there were beaver dams just on down the creek a little ways, so there were plenty of bullheads to catch all year long. It was just a neat place, especially when I was a kid and go down there. Did have to watch extra close, though, for rattlesnakes. But it was a wonderful farm to have for a kid to enjoy, without question. And they so enjoyed it for a plus 50 years before they finally were forced to move to town, and because of health reasons and age. With that in mind, though, she was quite a lady, and she would feed the whole family when they'd come down there. Had many family gatherings down there through the holidays. She also helped people whenever they needed it, including my family was helped financially one time from her. And so she was more than willing to give and help others that were in need, and also spiritual need, because she knew her Bible. That was important to her as well. She was a blessing to anyone that knew her. One of her hobbies, though, was shooting. I said shooting. She told that when she was young, still in the early 1930s, my mother would drive the Model T around the roads, country roads, and she'd have the .22 rifle. My mother'd spot the jackrabbits quicker than her, but she'd shoot them then. Dead shot she was. And they'd get 25 cents for each jackrabbit they shot when they'd take them to town. And that was hard cash and hard times. She told the best shot she ever made in her life. A crow had been coming in and breaking the chicken eggs in the chicken house. And so what she did, she saw him up there in the tree one day, just a dot out there at 100 yards, that old crow was on the tree. But she shot at him, just one shot, and she dropped that crow, killed him. She walked up that 100 yards, and there she'd shot him right in the eye. Oh, she was the first to admit that it was a pure luck shot, but that's the best shot she said she ever made, and always told about it with pride. She was a blessing to all that knew her. Goodbye, Evelyn Bigbee.